Yeah, I think by the time I got there, he was transitioning more to the Largo portion of it.
Okay.
And because all the other stuff had already been built into his curriculum, right? He's moving away from that with all the different people coming into play. I think the time that I got there, the inside role wasn't in the picture yet, and
Mm.
all these Wing Chun people were coming in, and that kind of influenced his stuff going forward. So he was transitioning. He's always moving, right? He's always transitioning, picking up this, picking up that, and he's one of those people that can look at something and reproduce it because of his prowess, right? I can't think of the word, right? But he can look at somebody doing something and go, "Oh, I get that," and then he could probably sometimes do it better than the guy that was doing it, just
Right.
just because of his ability, right? So he was that gifted that way, and he can flow with somebody and pretty much reproduce what the other person is doing. So, and his eyes were really good because he can. Um, like how the old way was you send your fighter out, right, and they do battles that he's watching what the guy's weaknesses are. That's how it went. Actually, that's one of the he was the fighter in the Alameda one. He was their fighter. Sonny was the guy that they send out to go duel with the other schools. I
Wait,
think
what
that's
do you mean? He was the so he
he,
would go fight these other schools, or
yeah.
he would fight random thugs?
No, well, people that would come in and challenge
Oh, I
stuff,
see.
right?
He
And
was like the sergeant at arms of sorts.
he was the one that sent out. I think that's how he lost his front teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's what I understood as well.
Yep.
I thought
Doing
that was in the Philippines. It was
uh,
here.
this is not well. This is what we got to ask the other guys, right? But this is the
Right.
way I understood, right?
I see.
I might have been in the Philippines, but the fact is that's the guy. Sonny was the guy that they sent out to figure out what the other guys can and cannot do, right? So he
Mhm.
was their sergeant of arms, if you will.
Got
So
it.
so anyway, so that was a nice thing to remember. But that's how he got good. In fact, a lot of the old masters were all fighters on the street.
Right.
That's
They
how
had to be.
they had to try
Hmm.
him out and stuff, right? So anyway, so that was how did I get there?
Well, right. In your perspective,
Yeah, so so we were just talking about the curriculum, right?
right. Well,
He
you were
was
talking about,
transitioning,
yeah. Mhm.
right? And a lot of his art was trying to figure out what works and doesn't work. That's really what I was trying to get to.
Mhm.
He learned from something, and I think that's when he started hitting up more.
Mm.
Uh,
Mm.
and this is my opinion, by the way,
Okay. Yeah,
because
of course.
everybody kind of worked from the top, and then that's can when and his stuff from the more would start coming up, like hitting up, right?
Hmm.
And this is my belief, right? Because that's what he was showing me at the time,
Okay.
right? So and so that's that was my limited stuff. I was in and out of people by that time. Jason's, he was also very dark in those days.
Well, okay. So you're saying that at least optically, or at least from what I know, is that early stuff was in the curriculum that was mostly Corto and knife based. But when you were there, most of that curriculum was getting phased out, and you started entering a Largamano phase and upward striking kind of phase.
This is my experience with them, right? I mean, he
Yeah.
might have been doing like Jason was saying. Each student had a direction, their own journey, and Sonny would just, as everybody calls it, he's just adding it up, right? He's
Mhm.
just adding
Right.
up what they can do, what
Mhm.
personality wise, also like direction. But he was always not. He was also by that time he was against all the dark stuff.
Yep.
Hmm.
By
Right.
that, right? He was
Right.
already because he's been there, done that. He was kind of done with that, so he was on his way to looking for a way to. You guys see that? I went like that,
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, like a river.
like
Flow. That's the flow based system. That
Yeah,
might be the new symbol right there.
he was transitioning to a softer part of it, right?
Right.
But he was very dark. With Jason as well, it was a lot of
Mm.
a lot of stuff. He was going through his, uh, you know, leaving his family,
Mhm.
his divorce, family,
Okay.
and he gave up his family for his art. This is a hardest thing for anybody to do.
Mhm.
He gave up his family for his art, right? And I think there was a story where he was playing around. I think it was a Bali song also, but anyways, he playing with it. A knife flew. I don't know if it was a Bali song, but it was a knife. And I think I got to ask Jackie if that happened. Did you hear that, Jason?
Yeah.
And it hit Jackie. I think it was Jackie that got hit with a knife or got hurt, and that's when he took out all his weapons from the wall, and did his stuff. Do you remember that, Jason?
Yeah. No, I remember. I think Jackie told us that at I think a barbecue at your house. I
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think.
vaguely remember the story. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
And there
Yeah.
was a point where he had to decide, family stuff. And anyway, so that's not an easy call
Hmm.
to look at your art and your family. And I think those Jackie and them were still in the teens. They were growing up, Brian and stuff. So yeah, I thought that was always a hard call to make and sacrifice your family for your art. I mean, that's the way I looked at it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to be that good, you have to be almost obsessive to want to be thinking about it, live it, constantly. I mean, only the best really are kind of like that, but where they're so
Well,
obsessive to excel.
I don't know. It was so much. We had a common friend, Skip Ellsworth. He's gone
Mhm.
now. He's in the Philippines, and this was just he was one. It was Skip Ellsworth was one of the eight of with Bruce Lee students, right? Jesse Glover, Skip was there. There was eight of them, but Skip Ellsworth and I became friends, and he lived in the Philippines,
Mm.
and he wrote to me one time. Sonny's really lucky, right? That he lived the life that he wanted to live, right? And nobody can say that I lived the life that I wanted to live.
Mhm.
So in a lot of ways, Sonny was very lucky, and Skip understood that. Sometimes we live our life because we have responsibilities, this that, but he actually sacrificed up to live the life that he wanted. So from our point of view, from Skip's point of view, he lived the life exactly the way he wanted to do it, which is
Mhm.
doing his art, doing his music, his craftsmanship, and all that stuff. So, anyways, I got
Yeah. Sidetrack. Yeah, no, what I think is interesting is that how you frame your relationship with Sonny, and not necessarily as a student, but as a friend. But sure enough, you were a student.
I am. I still am.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm given the opportunity to share. Sir has asked me to share, and I'm learning a lot of things that I did not see back when Sonny was sharing that with me. Of course, and things that I wasn't mature enough to see in terms of either application, especially with application, because all you see was Sonny doing his stuff, and you try to do the broad movement of it. But in terms of application, um, a lot of the applications were sort of taken away. I think that's what Jason was alluding to. You have
Okay.
all these movements that are coming in, but in terms of application, that kind of was put aside for different times, right?
Gotcha.
And
And
Jason, go ahead. I'm
Mhm.
sorry.
No. Sorry. Well, so this wasn't flow based yet, right? This was more so just technique, kind of like this is I'll show you this, and this is how you respond to that, or how would you describe what he showed you?
Well, I think he was leading into that because at the time he just came out with the frustrator.
Right. Yes.
That obviously, so and see that brought something a lot back to you, Greg, right? That became like this is a huge connection for all of us.
For
Yep.
sure. Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, so that just frustrator came out, and my interest in the frustrator was how he freaking built it.
Mhm.
The craftsmanship that allowed you to come up with a spindle, a rubber band that holds it going up and down, a weight on the bottom that swings it. That you kick that, and all these things are moving, right?
Yeah.
That's genius to me. That's the toy
Absolutely.
and so that was the beginning. So he was coming out of those things in terms of random stuff. This is
Hmm.
the random stuff that comes in. He was already going into that. That was the end of my my time. So I went like that again. But he had all the other applications, and then that's where Jason comes in.
Interesting.
Because
Okay.
Jason had, different things that was happening, needs. His needs were different in terms of application and stuff. So to answer your question, yes, it was curriculum based, but I think he already started going into the flow stuff because all the toys that he was coming in was trying to get into some kind of randomness.
Yeah, you bring up a good point about randomness and flow, and how they're both synonymous with each other,
Right.
and not necessarily the divergent or like the abandonment of the first gen curriculum, but it was more evolution in that he was just evolving martial artist basically.
Right.
But there's also some talk from what I'm gathering from the both of you of like this idea of dark side and that kind of the dark element of it. I mean, let's just be honest. This is learning how to hurt people. It's the study of hurting people, but how do you go about it is all the difference. And so